Well, a very good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Port Shopping Live. Today, we're talking about watches. Now, how many of you understand how great it is to own something that is truly great, something that is not only a work of art, but also the culmination of over 300 years of Swiss watchmaking innovation and excellence? Owning a beautiful watch is more than just about telling the time. It's about our relationship with time. It's about telling people not only what we've achieved in our lives, but also who we aspire to be. It's also the only true heirloom piece of jewelry for a man. I'm sure every lady watching this program is comfortable with the fact that they're going to pass down their jewelry to their daughters and their granddaughters or their nieces. But what does a man pass down? A truly great watch is the perfect thing. Welcome to a moment in time, the how, why, and where of how to get the best watches in the world at the best prices in the world. My name is Ian Wilson. I'm your resident shopping guide, as well as a GIA graduate gemologist and a watch expert. I'll take a moment to tell you a little bit about my fascination with watches. I've been collecting watches for just over 20 years now, and I've managed to amass a pretty nice collection. Not all very expensive, not all luxury pieces, but I appreciate every single one. And every single watch that I own says something different about things that I've done in my life, or about who I am as a person. We're going to talk a little bit about watches today so that you understand at the end of this program why everybody buys a watch when they're on vacation, when they're traveling through the tax and duty-free market, and understand a little bit about what you should be thinking about when picking the perfect watch for you. Let's start a little bit with the history of watches. Pocket watches started in the mid-1700s, and that was really a function of Swiss engineering getting to the point where they could miniaturize the components of a grandfather clock. Now think about that for a second. For the first time in history, we could carry time with us. We could walk around and know at any given moment what time it was. What a great step forward in the advancement of Western civilization. Wristwatches came about just after the turn of the 20th century. When we think about the industries that made it necessary to be able to have instant access to time, we're talking about the military, the trains, and aviation. Of course, the military, artillerymen needed to be able to time when they were shelling so as to not damage their own front lines. When we talk about trains, of course, for the first time in history, it was absolutely necessary to have an exact awareness of what time it was. After all, if you had two locomotives traveling in different directions on the same track, if you didn't have your timing right, it could cause a catastrophic disaster. And of course, pilots, a little bit easier to be able to look at your wrist to understand the time as opposed to fishing into your pocket. It really was an extraordinary advancement to take a watch from your pocket and put it on your wrist. And today, it truly is the one piece of jewelry that tells more about you than anything else that you could wear. Now we have to remember, up to this point, and up to 1960, all watches were made mechanically, so there were no batteries. And in today's world, mechanical watches, or watches that don't require a battery, are the most sought after, the most collectible, and the most prestigious wristwatches in the world. And we almost lost all of that extraordinary 300 years of engineering in 1960, when the quartz movement was created. In 1960, a Japanese scientist figured out that when you passed electrical current through a quartz crystal, it created an oscillating frequency that was very, very stable. A couple of advantages to that: you could create a very, very reliable timekeeping piece. Another advantage was that it was very inexpensive to mass produce. This created a situation where almost all major brands, and I'm talking about everyone from Rolex and Zenith and Patek Philippe to Citizen and Seiko, and every watch brand started to almost put away their mechanical divisions and focused almost exclusively on quartz watches. The downside of that was that we almost lost all of that amazing craftsmanship and engineering and knowledge that had been passed down from father to son in Switzerland. These beautiful works of art, these mechanical feats of innovation and craftsmanship, where the body of a watch, the engine of the watch, that created a situation where you could tell perfect time between -2 to +6 seconds in 24 hours, with 120 moving components, all fit in an engine the size of a quarter. We almost lost that amazing technology. Luckily, in the mid-70s, a couple of big watch brands, including Rolex and Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe, really revamped their mechanical divisions and started to recognize that owning a beautiful mechanical timepiece was not just about telling the time. It was about an appreciation of all of that extraordinary history and craftsmanship. In today's world, again, the most collectible, prestigious, and valuable watches are all going to be mechanical timepieces. Now let's talk a little bit about what that means. When we're talking about a mechanical timepiece, again, we're talking about a watch that doesn't need a battery. Now there's a couple of different types of mechanical movements. There's a manual mechanical movement, like the ones our fathers or grandfathers wore, where every morning when you wake up, you wind the watch and that winds the mainspring in the watch and it'll keep perfect time for the whole day. And then there's an automatic mechanical timepiece or a perpetual timekeeper. And that watch has a pendulum or a rotor inside. And just our movement through space will spin that rotor in either direction and constantly keep tension on that mainspring in the watch. And so as long as you're wearing an automatic mechanical timepiece and you're moving, it'll be keeping perfect time forever with no battery. That's really the penultimate timepiece. Everybody buys watches on a cruise. And the most common questions that I get as a shopping guide on the ship is, why does everybody buy watches on a cruise, and which watch should I buy? First of all, let's talk about why everybody buys watches on a cruise. Well, it's easy to understand. You're going to get the best prices in the world on any brand that you're looking for when you're sailing through the tax and duty-free market. There's a couple reasons for this, and let's pull the curtain back on the watch industry. First of all, great Swiss brands control their pricing worldwide. What this means that in the regular market, whether in the United States or Canada or England or Australia, for example, if the lowest price a brand will let you sell their watch for is $10,000, then the price that you're going to pay for that watch, whether you're in New York or Los Angeles or in Miami, whether you're in North Dakota or Toronto or Vancouver, accounting for currency conversion, or London, England, for example, that watch is going to be $10,000. It'll be the same price wherever you go, plus whatever applicable taxes are there. In the tax and duty-free market of the Caribbean, or Dubai, for example, or Hong Kong, the brands will allow an additional discount, but that discount is set by the brand. For example, Tag Heuer's discount in the tax and duty-free market is 15%. So if that was a $10,000 Tag Heuer plus tax in Los Angeles or New York, it would be $8,500 down here with no tax. So people are going to save a significant amount of money. You're going to save a significant amount of money, regardless of the brand that you're looking for. Now, because the prices are so good, it creates a watch buying frenzy. And the retailers are forced to carry an amazing inventory. So not only are you going to find the best prices in the world, but you're also going to see watches that you would have to wait sometimes 6 months or a year to see at home, just because they're forced to carry this amazing inventory. So I want you to get excited, because this cruise vacation, you're not only going to find the best prices in the world, you're also going to find the watch that's perfect for you. Couple of things to remember. First of all, when buying a nice watch, especially a new watch, you want to always stick with an authorized retailer. This ensures that your global warranty is intact and that you're covered by the brand itself. You don't want to spend a significant amount of money on a beautiful timepiece and it A, not be real, or B, not be covered with a warranty. So always buy from an authorized retailer. Anyone listed on Royal Caribbean's recommended and guaranteed shopping maps is an authorized retailer of any of the brands they carry. Secondly, never buy a new watch online. Here's a staggering statistic. Rolex makes 1.7 million watches a year, plus or minus a few. 5 million new Rolex sell online a year, which means the majority, a vast majority of the Rolexes that are sold online are fraudulent. So always buy a new watch in person. Go to an authorized retailer. After all, we've all seen watches that we loved before in a magazine or on television, and when we tried them on our wrist, it just didn't look right. You should always be in person when you buy a watch. So stick to an authorized retailer, try it on, get the best prices in the world, and find the perfect watch for you. And lastly, always shop tax and duty free. At this point, with my fascination, some would say obsession with watches, I will probably never buy a watch at home again unless I can't get it anywhere else. And why? Because I know, and I have experience, that I'm going to get much, much better prices in the tax and duty free market. Now, things to think about when buying a watch. Of course, you want to make sure that you shop tax and duty free. You want to think about what makes a great watch. The movement we talked about. If you can get a mechanical watch, that's very important. But we want to also talk about the exclusivity and the quality that goes into the making of that watch. Is there truly a difference between a $100 watch, a $1,000 watch, a $10,000 watch, and a $100,000 watch? Of course there is. And the difference is threefold. A, the quality of the workmanship. B, the quality of the materials. And C, the exclusivity of the watch. After all, many great timepieces, and if you invest in something perfect for you this cruise, you want to remember this. Many great timepieces will not depreciate in value, but will actually appreciate in value. And that's going to be tied up in the exclusivity of the brand. I always think about it this way. There are some great watch brands out there that are the Toyota hybrids, the Prius of the watch world. There's other brands that are the great BMWs and Mercedes of the watch world. And then there's some brands that are the Aston Martins or the Lamborghinis of the watch world. Obviously, the ones that are most exclusive have the most potential for appreciation and the most prestige. Let's talk about a few of the brands that you're going to be seeing this cruise vacation in the ports of call. First of all, I want to talk about Cartier. Cartier is an extraordinary watch brand, one of the most iconic watch brands and fashion brands in our world today. Cartier is regaled worldwide. They're known not just as an extraordinary fashion and jewelry manufacturer, but as one of the best watch manufacturers in the world. To wear a Cartier is truly something special. And this cruise vacation, you're going to have an opportunity to find Cartier at tax and duty-free prices. Whether you're looking for an extraordinary Santos or a Roadster, for example, a Pasha, or of course, the very important Ballon Bleu, you're going to find them this cruise vacation, and I invite you to contact me at the shopping hotline to find out which retailer will have the best selection and the best price on Cartier this cruise. One of the other iconic fashion brands that is extraordinarily regaled as a watchmaker is Bulgari. And yes, this cruise, you're going to find extraordinary selection of Bulgari watches at the very best prices. Whether you're a fan of Elizabeth Taylor, ladies, and you want to wear that iconic serpentine watch, or gentlemen, if you want one of their more exclusive pieces designed by Daniel Roth or Gerald Genta in the Enduro Sport or the Octo, you're going to find some of the best watches in the world. Cartier and Bulgari, both available this cruise. The next brand I want to talk about is one that's very, very close to my heart, and right now, very close to my wrist. And that is a brand called Hublot. Hublot is probably the most sought-after watch brand in the world today. Hublot makes about 30,000 watches a year for the whole planet. That is truly not enough to go around. But they are committed to not only innovation, cutting-edge technology, but also extraordinary attention to detail. Owning a Hublot is something very, very special. Perhaps the perfect marriage in the world between the quality of the build, the quality of the materials, and the desirability all falls on Hublot. Because it's rare in this world that the trendiest things or the most sought after things are the best quality. I'm sure you'll all agree with that. Hublot is the exception. Hublot, as a watch manufacturer, has won 7 Geneva Grand Prix in the last decade. That is the Olympic gold medal of watchmaking in Switzerland. So you know they are of the utmost quality. They're also known as being masters of innovation, and the tagline of the Hublot brand is the art of fusion. The perfect marriage between different, unique, and innovative materials. In 1980, they were the first watch company to put a rubber strap on a solid gold watch. At this point, every major brand has copied them, and that time in 1980, they were certainly the laughing stock of the watch world, but everybody has followed suit. Hublot uses materials that no one else uses: zirconium, tantalum. They manufacture their own type of ceramic for some of their pieces that is 1,800 times as hard as the nose of the space shuttle. They manufacture their own type of 18-karat gold that is scratch-proof, a first in the world, not just in the world of watches, but in the world. Hublot also has some extraordinary partnerships that has led to them being the most desired watch brand in the world. Partnerships with Ferrari, the official watch of Ferrari. Partnerships with Formula One, the official watch of Formula One. Partnerships with the Miami Heat and Dwayne Wade, and with the Los Angeles Lakers and Kobe Bryant. They are certainly the most desired watch brand in the world. This cruise vacation, you're going to have the opportunity to see the best selection of Hublot you've ever seen. So make sure you give me a call to find out exactly which port is going to be best for Hublot. You are going to see watches that you would have to wait 6 months to see, even if you were shopping in Times Square in New York City. Hublot and owning a Hublot is something truly special. I had the great opportunity to go to Switzerland just this last year and visit the Hublot manufacturer, and it was like visiting a rock concert. It was absolutely mind-blowing. Please give me a call and find out how you can own a Hublot this cruise. Not only finding something that no one at home can have, but also getting the best price in the world. Hublot is certainly something everyone should be looking for. One of the other brands that I want to talk about and that is very, very close to my heart is Zenith. Zenith was founded in the mid-1800s in La Loque in Switzerland. The founder of Zenith was a visionary. Zenith was the first watch manufacturer to bring all of the manufacturing process in-house. So he wasn't outsourcing hands or mainsprings or any components. Everything was built under one roof. And what's even more amazing is all Zeniths are built under that same roof today. Zenith is perhaps the most respected movement maker in the world of watches. Making less than 20,000 watches a year still today, Zenith is the watch lover's watch. If you want to collect something that is of the utmost quality, has extraordinary significance historically, and is really, really off the scale in the cool factor, then you want to be thinking about Zenith. Zenith, specifically the El Primero movement in Zenith, was the most famous and the most regaled movement in watches for over 40 years. Invented in 1969, it was the first high-frequency chronograph, beating at 36,000 vibrations per hour. The average chronograph beats at 28,800 vibrations an hour. This caused such a massive stir that every other watch company in Switzerland, and I'm talking about big names like Tag Heuer and Breitling and Rolex, for example, often used Zenith movements to up the quality of their watch brand. And in fact, if you're a fan of Rolex, and we'll talk about Rolex in a second, the line of Rolex Daytonas that have appreciated more than any other Rolex watch in history between 1983 and 1991 all carried Zenith El Primero movements. And that's why that particular span of years of the Daytona is more valuable than any other. So Zenith, and when you're buying a Zenith this cruise, you're getting something extremely special. Of course, it's not going to be as recognized as a lot of other brands. But think about this for a second. It's not how many people recognize the watch you're wearing, it's which ones. And the most important watch collectors in the world will be the first ones to look at you and say, wow, that's a beautiful Zenith. I invite you to give me a call so that we can talk about where to find Zenith. And if you just want to talk about the brands or anything about watches, Zenith is truly something special. And at the end of this program, we may give you a bit of a treat. We may show you the earth-shattering, groundbreaking footage of adventure Felix Baumgartner free-falling from 128,000 feet from the stratosphere wearing a Zenith. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary event to watch it. So stay tuned to the program and wait till the end. We'll show you that Zenith footage. It's very exciting. Rolex. We need to talk about Rolex. Everybody wants a Rolex, and you're going to have the opportunity to see an extraordinary selection of Rolex this cruise. And in fact, some of the spots that we're going to be looking at Rolex this cruise have over 400 new Rolex on display. Authorized retailers, everything from the classic Submariner, Submariner Date, to the Milgauss, to the Yachtmaster, to the Presidential, with diamonds, without diamonds, precious metals. You are going to find some extraordinary Rolex this cruise. Again, if you're looking for Rolex, as many of you will be this cruise, remember to give me a call so I can steer you in the right direction. Romain Jerome. Romain Jerome is an amazing company. Now, if you're somebody who always wants to be a little bit innovative, a little bit different, sets himself apart from the crowd, then maybe Romain Jerome is the brand for you. With the tagline, the DNA of famous legends, Romain Jerome does something very special. Utmost quality, in fact, many Geneva Grand Prix under their belt as well for watchmaking. They have very, very limited editions. And when they talk about the DNA of famous legends, there's always something extra special about every single Romain Jerome watch. They're the company that released the Moon Dust watch. That's right, dust from the moon is on the dial of the Moon Dust watch. And the last time we got moon dust from the moon was in 1969. So you are truly wearing something that is a universal treasure when you're wearing a Moon Dust DNA Romain Jerome. Even more famous and more popular would be their line of Titanic watches that actually have steel from the Titanic in the watch. Now, 5 years ago now, UNESCO designated the Titanic as a World Heritage Site, which means that nothing will ever come off the Titanic again. So if you truly want to walk around with a piece of history on your wrist, then maybe you should be thinking about Romain Jerome this cruise. So give me a call and think about that for a second. Some other brands that you may be looking for, you're going to find an extraordinary selection of Breitling this cruise. Known as the Aviator's watch, you're going to find retailers that have not only a full selection of the whole Breitling line, but you're also going to find retailers that have a full selection of the very, very cutting edge and sought after Breitling for Bentley line this cruise, all at tax and duty-free prices. If you want to find a great selection of Breitling, give me a call because you're going to be able to find them this very cruise. We mentioned Omega, of course famous for being on the wrist of Neil Armstrong and the Apollo 11 crew. When they landed on the moon in 1969, Omega is an extraordinarily respected watch manufacturer, also very innovative in their movements. One of the classic watches that should be in every man's collection is the Omega Seamaster. Of course, everybody's heard about their partnership with James Bond. You'll have an opportunity this cruise to find the limited edition James Bond Omega Seamasters, as well as the Planet Ocean, the Speedmaster, the Constellation, or any of the other great watches that Omega makes. Let's take a moment to talk a little bit about Tag Heuer. Tag Heuer often relegated to a step below some of the other brands that we've been talking about, which flies entirely in the face of the facts today. Of all of the high-volume luxury brands we've spoken about, Rolex, Omega, and Breitling, Tag Heuer is the only one that has won Geneva Grand Prix in the last decade. They are extraordinarily innovative in the creation of new movements. They are extraordinarily high quality, and they have an amazing history as well. Your opportunity to own a Tag Heuer this cruise is an amazing opportunity. You're going to find not only their high fashion, high couture pieces like the Monaco V4, the first belt-driven movement in a watch. You're going to be able to find the Micrograph this cruise, which just won the Geneva Grand Prix. A mechanical analog watch that the second hand spins faster than a helicopter blade when you push the plunger. That measures 1/100th of a second, all without a battery. Tag Heuer creates amazing timepieces. So I invite you to give me a call. If you always wanted to gift yourself for that milestone in your life, maybe Tag Heuer is the option for you. I own a beautiful tag. If you want to see it, just give me a call and we'll show you. One of the other sport technical brands that I'm very focused on right now is a brand that's also extraordinarily exclusive. Britain has an amazing history of watchmaking, the first marine calendar, the first marine compass. And there was a group that wanted to bring that history back to England. It's a group called Bremont. Bremont watches are tested beyond endurance and are the choice right now of people like Ewan McGregor, Tom Cruise, Orlando Bloom. Tested beyond endurance, if you want adventures, also the choice of Bear Grylls. Bremont only makes 3,000 watches a year, and in the price range that they are accessible and available to anyone cruising on the ship this cruise. with 9 coatings on each side of their sapphire crystal with steel that is 9 times as hard as the watch standard. These are watches that are truly tested beyond endurance. And listen to this, mark it on your calendar, give me a call, go searching for Bremont this cruise, because they only make 3,000 watches a year for the whole world. So owning a Bremont, being in that category with Tom Cruise and Ewan McGregor and Bear Grylls and Orlando Bloom is something special because not every person can have a Bremont. And you're celebrating the reinvigoration of an amazing history, British watchmaking. Tested beyond endurance, Bremont is something that everyone should be looking for. Now, one of the last family-owned watchmakers in Switzerland is a company called Raymond Weil. The window of opportunity to get Raymond Weil at great prices is getting smaller and smaller because unfortunately, the patriarch of the Raymond Weil family, Raymond himself, just passed away. So their production may increase, their price points may increase right now because it was very important to Raymond to hold the manufacturing process to the utmost quality. They controlled every aspect of the production of their watches. And this kept costs down, which was something that was very important to Raymond Weil. If you want a mechanical, automatic, quality timepiece with a sapphire crystal for under $1,000, Raymond Weil is the brand that you will be looking for this voyage. I am a huge fan. I think bang for your buck, it would be very difficult to compete with any of Raymond Weil's designs. For men or ladies, beautiful watches. If you've never heard of Raymond Weil before, I invite you to give me a call so I can send you a VIP card so you can take a look at the collection. And if you're looking at getting a watch for the $600, $700 to $1,500 price range this voyage that is automatic mechanical, then Raymond Weil is your choice. The next brand I want to talk about is one that is world famous right now. And if you don't already own a Philip Stein, then it's certainly a brand that you've heard of before. Philip Stein is the only watch that Oprah has ever given away on 3 different Best of the Best shows. And it's not because it's super luxury. It's not because it's extremely or extraordinarily expensive. It's because of the health benefits that are included in every single Philip Stein. Now, we can probably all agree that Oprah could wear $1 million watch if she wanted to, but she chooses to wear a Philip Stein. And the reason is this. Every single Philip Stein, regardless of the price range of the particular model, has a chip inside that emits natural frequencies that balance our nervous system to the natural frequency of the Earth. What this does is it creates a healthier nervous system. The results of a healthier nervous system are better sleep, less effects of stress on our lives. People have reported it's the only thing that's helped them with chronic pain, with headaches, with migraines, and a laundry list of other afflictions. If you're sitting there watching the television right now going, oh yeah, right, let me explain it to you this way. We can all understand that our nervous system runs on electricity. When it's running at the correct frequency, it works better. It's the same thing as going to get a tune-up for your car, for example. Once you just drive out of the tune-up, you're going to get better mileage, your car is going to run more effectively. And the same thing happens to our body when we wear Philip Stein. Now, why would our nervous system be running at the wrong frequency? It's called electromagnetic pollution, and it's caused by those of us that spend a lot of time in an urban environment, around telephone wires or electrical wires, are always on our cell phone or an iPod or an iPad, always sitting looking at a computer screen or watching television all the time. And this causes the frequencies of our body to get out of whack. Philip Stein will balance that and protect you from electromagnetic pollution. With a price range that starts in the mid-400s, I think this is something every single person watching this program should consider. It's an amazing way to improve your life and wear a beautiful watch. Now, Philip Stein also creates a more whimsical line called Fruits, and I invite you to take a look at the Fruits collections in the ports of call as well. Fruits, kind of similar to that beautiful, fun, colorful swatch kind of look from the 1980s. The frequency technology in the Fruits is the same as in the Philip Stein. So regardless of what you buy, regardless of how much you pay, whether it's the very attractive $200, $210 price range where Fruit starts, or if you go to $400, $500, $600, or $700 for a Philip Stein, the health benefits will be the same. So certainly worth every single person going out and investing a little bit of money to improve your life forever. Philip Stein is amazing. Now, a little bit of an addendum, because this is important as a personal story. You'll often see me wearing 2 watches. Why? Because I love wearing my Hublot. I love wearing Zenith. I love the Tag Heuer that I bought from the 1887 collection. I love wearing all of the watches that I've collected over the last 20 years. But I don't want to give up the benefits of wearing my Philip Stein. So you'll often see me every day between 5 to 7 hours wearing a Philip Stein on my right wrist, because then I get the health benefits. And for me in particular, this is very important. About 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with a condition called terminal insomnia. And yes, I looked at the doctor and said, "Terminal? Does that mean I'm going to die?" And he said, "No. What it means, and some of you may experience this in your lives as well and not even know it, is I have no trouble falling asleep, but if I'm woken up for any reason, it's very difficult for me to get back to sleep." And I did the whole sleep study and diagnosis and everything, and I had my journey with the sleep drugs, with Ambien, so on and so forth, and the grogginess in the morning, and the inability to get moving. 3 weeks after buying my Philip Stein in 2009, I went off Ambien, and I've not been on it since. If that's a powerful enough story to sway some of you to go into the store and get a Philip Stein, then I've done my job, and I feel like I've made the world a better place. So get a Philip Stein this cruise. You're only going to thank me for it. Now we're going to talk about something really, really fun. We're going to talk about Fendi. Now, like Cartier and Bulgari, Fendi is a watch manufacturer, so they make excellent watches. Italian design, Swiss innovation, Swiss quality, and make extraordinary watches. Ladies, if you want to gift yourself with something that is truly fashionable and amazing, then get a Fendi. Their whole line of watches is awesome, but I want to concentrate on one model in particular. It's called the Crazy Carats, and it is something that's just launching in the United States and Canada right now, so get it before the price goes up, when you can get it at such a good price down here on your cruise vacation. Now, what makes the Fendi Crazy Carats so special is one particular part of the design that no other watch in the world has, and that is the fact that the number markers on the dial are all semi-precious gemstones and all different colors. And in fact, there's a special crown on the watch that when you twist it, those gemstones change color. And remember I talked about Zenith, and I talked about Felix Baumgartner free-falling, the longest free fall ever in human history, the first person to break the sound barrier with the human body. He was falling faster than the speed of sound, jumping from 128,000 feet. So stay tuned. I really want everyone to watch the Felix Baumgartner Zenith video because it's super exciting. And when we come back, I'm going to close off the program. I hope you've enjoyed watching this watch program so far. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Capsule Commander calling to all the folks listening to this for Felix Baumgartner that it'll come back safe to the Earth.
This is the mission director. We are at float.
Wasn't that amazing? It's extraordinary what human beings will do, isn't it? It's amazing. For someone to take a balloon ride up to 128,000 feet, have to wear a spacesuit because there's no atmosphere, and then jump out to free fall faster than the speed of sound for 128,000 feet, I think is extraordinary. A side note, and an important one at that, he was wearing an automatic mechanical Zenith Stratos with an El Primero movement inside, and it kept perfect time, even after landing, after all of that stress. I don't think there's a more extreme way to test the quality of a watch. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I'm Ian Wilson, your shopping guide. I look forward to helping you find the perfect watch for you at the best prices in the world. Call me at the shopping hotline at any time. I look forward to steering you in the right direction and helping you get the perfect timepiece for you. Stay tuned to the Port Shopping Network for more important port shopping information.